Well, hello, everyone. I'm Julia Royston of BK Royston Publishing, Royal Media and Publishing, and author community, the Book Business Bosses, helping you get your message to the masses, turn your words into wealth. And tonight, I am so pleased and over the top excited to have these fabulous educators with me this evening. And so I am super excited that you're joining us. So if you are a parent with a child, I hope that you're joining us. If you know of some young people that have children and they have questions, and oh my gosh, NTI, and oh my goodness, he's not good in math, and oh my goodness, science is a struggle, and oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And um, um, I hope to have some answers for you this evening. So I'm super excited. Welcome to Educational Summit Part 2. Back in August, we did Part 1. So if you missed Part 1 back in August, be sure and visit bit.ly/BK Royston on YouTube and kind of go through the YouTube videos, and you'll be able to see 5 nights of an educational summit with some fabulous educators during that week as well. And the replays are also at juliaroyston.net, Live Your Best Life, and special events. So I make it plenty of ways for you to get the information that you need to not only live your best life, but hopefully help your child with learning. So I want to really start off with tutoring and college prep, because that is something that will be navigated just a little bit differently this time. There is a lot of in Kentucky, we call it NTI, and I think they're calling it NTI, but that's non-traditional instruction, whatever they're calling it in your area. But I'm super excited. I'll bring them all back on at the end to really give you an idea and kind of their focal point and what they are deemed as where the future of education is actually going to be. And so we'll be right back with everyone. I'll give them an opportunity to introduce themselves in just a second. But I am so glad you're joining us. Be sure and share the video. You can find it. Those of you who are on YouTube, we're also on Facebook Live. Look for Julia Royston, as well as Julia A. Royston is my handle on Facebook and on Periscope. Yep, I'm back on Periscope as well. And so I really wanted to talk to these phenomenal people in regards to their businesses and really what they have to offer. Thank you so much again, those of you who are joining. Please share. Please put your comments there, and we'll hopefully be able to answer your questions. So I want to start. Let's start. I just want each one of you to introduce yourselves. So Opal Dawson, go ahead and start first, and then Dr. Tamara Bowles, Brian Watts, and then Dr. West. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Opal Dawson, and I am with Best College Match and Best College Match Foundation. We are a college coaching service. We work with students around the country in helping them to find their best college match. We have been in business since 2015, and we are very proud to have 2 books. Our Best College Match, 5 Steps that earned over $1 million in scholarships. And of course, we have a workbook, the Best College Match workbook. Both of these books are available on our website, bestcollegematch.com. And hopefully we'll have time to share a little bit more about this information with you later on.
Wonderful, wonderful. Dr. Bowles.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Royston. I am Dr. Tamara Bowles, the president and CEO of Building Your Future Consulting, where my company specializes in K through 12 tutoring, as well as specialize in standardized tests such as ACT, SAT, PSAT. I just picked up GRE as well as GMAT. My website is byfconsulting.org. B as in building, Y as in your, F as in future, consulting.org. You can find me on Facebook, Dr. Tamara Bowles, as well as LinkedIn, Dr. Tamara Bowles, and I look forward to talking with you parents and others soon regarding the next steps in the education of your child or children.
Great. So, Mr. Brian J.T. Watts. Okay, hold on. Go ahead. Yeah. There you go.
Hello, my name is Brian Watts. I'm an educational consultant. My website is thebrianwatts.com. I have a book for parents called How to Help Your Children Help Themselves, which tells parents how to help to get their children through 1st to 12th grade. Also handle mathematics tutoring from 6th grade to 12th grade, and also college algebra. Also for SAT and ACT prep at justletmeteach.com. So if you need any of those services, in addition to professional development for teachers and seminars for parents, I can be reached for those things.
Excellent, excellent. All righty, and next up, Dr. Wakandia West.
Hello, how are you? I am Dr. Wakandia West. My business is based in Mobile, Alabama. However, I reach and work with scholars all over the country, and I help those students increase their ACT score. I've been doing this for over 7 years. I work with private clients. I work with about 7 different school systems. I also help teachers to prepare for the ACT as a support for several different school systems by providing professional development. I also do this virtually as well as in person. I can be reached at www.westinstructionalservices.net. That's where you will find all of my products and services. I'm also on Instagram, Dr. WSW. I'm on LinkedIn and Twitter as Dr. Wakandia West. Right behind me, I have 2 of my books. One is ACT Crack the Code. The other one is the ACT Study Journal. I use these products along with my ACT in-person services as well as my virtual services. So I look forward to working with any of you who are in need of ACT prep.
Oh, amen, amen, amen. I'm sorry, I got an amen in my spirit right then. So I have a comment from Miss Elaine Daisley, who says, I'm loving this, but young adult, they're already grown. I would have loved this service when my kids were in school. I understand that. So I'm just curious, and I'm going to ask Opal Dawson first, because, and I know that Wakandia still has school age children as well, but you know, the Blake Dawson is our $1 Million Man scholarships wise, and so I'm just really curious as to if you could, Opal Dawson, give us just a couple tips that, especially from the Best College Match, if you've got a high school student and you're trying and striving to navigate this process. I know that I'm probably starting in reverse, but if those of you that are really struggling with this college process, like what is that going to look like? How am I going to select? College visits are limited. What does that look like? So Opal, fortunately, Blake doesn't have to go through this unless he wants to go through grad school, but based on Best College Match, what are 2 tips that you would give heading into striving to select a college headed into the next level?
Well, what I would say is for any parent that is considering post-secondary work, whether it's a 4-year institution or a 2-year institution or even a certificated program, is to begin now. So whether your child is in middle school or beginning high school, now is the time. One thing that we tell our clients is that we look at character, competence, and confidence. So it's not just those academic services, but we want to look at that whole child and what they are able to not only to bring to a program post-secondary, but what that post-secondary program offers for them as well. So if I were to offer offer 2 tips for parents right now. If they're in their senior program, well, they should have already seen Dr. Bowles and Dr. West in trying to get those test scores. But let's just say that they haven't done that. And during this pandemic, what I would recommend is that they get online right now and that they are looking for those schools that they think are going to be a match for them. And there is a school, there are 4,000 schools out there. So they don't have to be bound by what's closest to home. So no matter what their scores may be, if they didn't retest in time, they can go out there and look for those websites that say, okay, here, based on where you are at this moment in time, here's a school that's a match for you. And so I think that brings down some of the stress for parents. So that's one thing if you're in that final stretch in a senior. If you're earlier in your high school career, what we recommend for our families is to say, okay, this is where you're starting. So you're building that career pathway, if you will, in high school, so that by the time you get to your senior year, it's not like that you're stressed out and saying, oh my goodness, what am I doing? And so, for example, if you're a freshman, you're saying, okay, I'm keeping up with my grades. I'm looking at how I can creatively do community service, even though I'm quarantined at this time. What can I do online, for example, to maybe tutor some students who are doing NTI? So that's just one more tip. Look at how you can creatively create this record of success now, as opposed to having to wait until the last minute and get it done.
Exactly. Well, when I was still in the school system, we were at Dixie Elementary, and we had the college flags and banners all up and down our hallways.
Exactly.
And people always ask, isn't that a little early? We had parents who asked, isn't that a little soon? Isn't that a little early? They're just babies. I said, well, they may be your baby, but eventually they're going to be grown. And so, instilling that whole mindset.
Yes.
Elementary school is definitely not too early. Agree?
And you're planting that seed, Dr. Royston, because what students have to see is what it can be. And elementary school is when it happens. And so you mentioned, and just briefly, you mentioned my son earning over $1 million in scholarships, which is how we got the title of our book. He didn't start earning that scholarship while he did apply in high school. The mindset for getting it done started when he was in elementary school. And so that work ethic has to start early on. So simple things like, okay, right now, sitting at the computer and getting your work done. Then it was sitting down in class and getting your work done. So you're absolutely right. It does start early.
It has to start early. Please go ahead and, as they say, just in time for the holidays. Just in time, we're going to be celebrating, as they say, we're going to be doing Black Friday, not only sales, but we're going to be striving to give you tools to enrich your young people for the future. I know they outgrow clothes and all of that, and that's your choice, and the electronics, but we need to instill some things that will prepare them for the next level, far and beyond. And if your children are all grown, congratulations and awesome. But there are some people down the street, there's some great nieces, there's some great grandchildren, there's some people along the way who need this information. So all the tools that are here this evening, Dr. Bowles has a book as well that's motivational and inspirational about her educational journey. Dr. Wells has her book, Brian Watts has his book, and Opal Dawson has her book. So there's going to be tools and information for you to be able to help your child live, or that grandbaby, or I didn't have any biological children, so my nieces and anybody else I know, second, third, fourth generation down, so they can be all that is they can be. I have a question. I think this is for Opal. Joan Gray says, my grandson is in 10th grade and is looking at colleges. What should he be doing now to prepare?
What I would recommend right now, just really fast, Ms. Joan, is that let's look at what first of all, and I know that Dr. Bowles will talk about this as well as far as the test score side, but what I would recommend on the college side or any post-secondary program side is let's look at what his top 5 colleges, universities, or programs would be. And then based on those, let's look and see which one most closely matches what his interests are. And then from there, we can narrow down, okay, so which one is going to offer him the most? Okay, not just, okay, all right, they're offering me money, because what we don't want is for children to just jump into a school because they're offering them money. The whole idea here is for your grandson to not only get into a school, but to get into the school and finish. Because a whole lot of students can get in school, but they get in there, they take out these loans, which is what we don't encourage, and then they don't finish. And so wherever he goes, what you want to be doing right now are looking at those schools that are going, that's why we say match, best college match, that are going to be a match according to what his interests are, so that he gets in and he gets out. So that's the biggest thing right now. If you go to my website, we have some resources for you that'll help you do that. You can also shoot us an email and we can answer some of those questions as well, Ms. Joan.
Excellent. That's a great question. Okay, so I want to move to the, I'm going to ask Mr. Brian J.T. Watts. Let's go, because one of his specialties, and then I'll come back to Dr. West and Dr. Bowles. His specialty, of course, is math. So tell us a little bit about, do you have openings, and how long have you been teaching it, and what your availability is?
I've been teaching, wow, you're gonna make me feel old. I've been teaching math since 1997, and I have been tutoring since 1983, 84. But I was in high school then. So I have openings on my site on justletmeteach.com. There's a calendar where you can schedule times. There's also a free 10-minute consultation that parents can schedule, so they can talk to me about whatever they need to talk about for their child. Also, some parents elect to have the child talk to me at that time to let me know what's going on with them and how they feel about what's going on with their classes. And, you know, a lot of children are struggling with this online instruction. There's not a lot of one-on-one in their class anymore. They're not connected. So when we talk, we can get a lot of things in the open. It's easier. I think the one thing that a lot of people don't realize is needed in mathematics is communication, more than just math skill and math knowledge. It's having the ability to talk to somebody and see exactly where they're coming from and how they might need to hear this information so that they can understand it. So we have plenty of openings. I have sort of wiped my calendar clean for the evenings on the after school hours, so that as many kids as can come on and tutoring. So they're packaged so that it's not just by the hour. There are packages that range from occasional help to intense help. So they can purchase packages, and then they have the availability to schedule during the weeks that they have purchased and come on when they need it most.
Perfect. Display your book one more time, Brian, and tell us just a little bit about your book.
Okay, this book was written for parents, caregivers, anyone who has a student from 1 to 12, and teachers can read it as well. This book was written to help parents. A lot of parents say that they don't have a lot of time, and I definitely get that. My parents both worked when I was young, and somehow my mom still found a way to be at everything. Even when I didn't know what was going on at school, she would come home with my report card like, yeah, there was parent-teacher conference tonight. And I'm like, oh, I had no idea. So somehow there are ways now for parents to still be involved. It tells parents how to get involved with the school district and to know exactly what's happening with the school district. It tells them about school choices. It also tells them how to get to know their children better in ways that they might not have thought of, to learn about their personality style and their learning styles and their intelligences, so that when they do schedule events and summer programs and things of that nature for their child, that they're scheduling along these guidelines with their personality and with their learning style. So they're not wasting time. They're sort of putting recreation and education and everything together. And that way, when a teacher calls with a problem with your child, you have something to say to them. You say, oh, well, this works best for my child because I know them now. I know this about them. And there's also a value assessment at the end where both the student and the parent can sort of grade the parent on how they're doing with their interaction with all of the things that are involved in the book.
Well, thank you, because I know parent involvement is such a key, huge a thing in schools, and getting the parents as involved as possible. So Joan Edmondson has a question for you. How to encourage young students elementary school age to become interested in math? Because you know that's a struggle.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I really, it's crazy. I really wish my mom was around to hear this, because I've probably talked about it more when it comes to education than I ever did in my life. But yeah, I would do something like my mother did. My mother found out that I was gifted in math when I was about 4. And when I got a little older, she started to just push everything. Everything became a math question, a math predicament. And then she would take me to the store with her, and I would add up everything she put in the cart. And, before we got to the register, I would tell her the total. She would say, well, put the tax on, and I would do it. And then the cashier would ring it up, and it would come up, and it would be the same. And I didn't get anything for it, but I did know that I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
I became more confident. And I thought that actually every kid that was with their mom was doing that, because I didn't know any better. But I find that even if your child can't do something that big, everything in life has math in it. So if you start to bring it up, then you're starting to show your children that math is not just a subject in school that they're doing bad at. It's something that they have to do in life every day. And they start to see the value of it. Application is not taught in school as much as theory is. And when you have the application in life every day, you start to realize, oh, this is something I need to know, something I need to get better at, more than just counting the pencils in the little stack or things like that that's in your workbook. And in elementary school, it seems that math is one of those subjects that's done pretty quickly, and they move on to something else. So it's very important to have it as a daily thing in your life. So anytime you have a chance to count something, anytime you have a chance to add things together or to look at shapes or any of that, take that chance to ask your child those questions and go through it with them. And for some of the parents, they find out they're learning as much about it as their children are if they start to ask these questions and go through it. And you'll find out that what people are calling new math is nothing but a new way to explain old math. And
right. Oh, excellent. Well, I want to move on. Thank you so much, Brian Watts. I want to move on to Dr. West and Dr. Bowles. I'll start with you, Dr. Bowles. Please introduce again your services and what you're offering again, and any tips that you have for parents, because we seem to be very engaged this evening, which is a beautiful thing.
Thank you, Dr. Royston, and welcome to all of you viewers. I am Dr. Teacherpreneurs Bowles, the president and CEO of BYF Consulting, and I am getting ready actually to launch another company, which will be the parent company for BYF Consulting. I specialize in tutoring K through 12. My expertise area is in ACT and SAT prep. I was featured 3 years ago for tutoring a scholar at Dupont Manual who earned a perfect 36 on the ACT. The other scholars that I have came through my company have been the high 30s. Just 3 months ago, I tutored a scholar again in Louisville, Kentucky, who attends Dupont Manual, who scored a 35. And then I have scholars at Central High School, KCD, Wagner, all over the globe who have had high scores. My score range is from 3 to 8 points plus. So what I can say is Opal Dawson said it best: exposure, exposure, exposure. And as an educator and a former teacher, I believe that having the skill set and being able to identify strengths and weaknesses is will come to standardized tests. Knowing the format of the test, knowing the structure of the test, timing strategies is crucial. Test anxiety, those are crucial. So if we can map out those things and focus on those things first, then the rest will come. And I will share with you that while they're tutoring with BYF Consulting, I make sure that they know about Best College Match with Opal Dawson, okay? Because there's enough room and I need to send them on to her as well. And so with that, Dr. Royston being said, I can say to you parents, educators, guardians, and other, if you would like to talk with me, I ask that you visit my website or you can email me at byfconsulting@yahoo.com and let's have a conversation because I need to identify your scholars, which is your children's strengths and weaknesses. Those things have to come. And in saying that, once I identify those things, then we'll put a comfortable package together. I do have another book that's coming out. My first book is Cleaning Out My Garden. The second book, along with Dr. Yvette Thomason, we came together as two authors recently to put out the book, The Velvet Tam. Under the doctoral hat is our testimony. And that book basically tells about our journey, our testimonies, what we went through, how we had to have test scores, dissertation, take comps test, the whole 9 yards. And so we started from the bottom and worked our way up. And if we can do it, you can do it. So tests will not intimidate you. And guess what? A test does not determine your intelligence. So look me up at www.byfconsulting.org, or you can contact me. I will make sure that my information is in the chat and let's have a conversation.
Excellent, excellent. I'm going to go to Dr. West next. Dr. West, hello, gorgeous. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, love. Go ahead and tell us about your openings and where people can. Do you have Andy?
Yes. Okay. So again, I am Dr. Wakundia West. My book is ACT Crack the Code. And I will say this, I wrote this book because I've been doing ACT prep for the past 7 years. And my strategy was very easy, very simplistic, very repetitive. So I said, well, let me just put this inside of a book. So the parents can use it with their scholars and the students can purchase it as well. And I like this book. You see how small it is? Because most of the time, and I'm sure the others on the panels can attest to this, when you get the ACT prep books, they're like this big with 1,000 million pages inside. And it's extremely difficult to navigate through those books. And I would love to say this also. This book has been used with so many scholars and those who have ADD, ADHD, dyslexia. I've had several parents to come back and say, you know what, my child has dyslexia or ADHD, and this book was a perfect fit for them because they could actually get through it without stumbling, right?
Yeah, went over.
Exactly. And so then the study journal, I wrote this because even after my test prep classes, a lot of times I would get a text back or email back and the parents would say, okay, so now what do I do? How do I help my student? And I was like, okay, well, let me put it in a book. So you'll know exactly what to do. So those are both of my books. They can be found on my website, which is westinstructionalservices.net, along with my virtual boot camp. I do lots of in-person services, and we know because of the pandemic, because of COVID, that's the thing now. I've started doing a lot of things virtually. And so I do have a ACT boot camp, which will be virtual. And it will be December 7th through the 10th. And I am so excited. I would like to say that virtual does work for those parents listening. Virtual does work. I just had, before I came on, I had a parent to inbox me. Her son went up 5 points. He on his ACT. Okay. He attended my virtual boot camp. Isn't that amazing?
That's awesome.
And And I know in the world of virtual learning, parents can be hesitant, and if they don't really know you and they have to, warm up to you with the trust factor, I do understand. But once you see those testimonies, you just have to take it at face value and trust it, believe it, and start the process. Like everyone has already said, you have to get started. And I would like to throw this in as well. We have to find a balance. We can't be sports, and then academics take aside, they're on the back burner. Exactly. I see y'all smiling. And I find that a lot. And what happens is, because I work with lots of athletes, God bless them, they go to coaches, they pay for gym, they do all of this. And then at the end of senior year, they come to us. I'm sure Dr. Bowles and the others can attest to this. And suddenly, I need 5 more points. I need 3 more points. I need this scholarship. When you should have been doing it all along the way. We have to find a balance. I'm really good at what I do, but I'm not a miracle worker. So it's important. You've got to start the process, and you cannot start senior year. I think Dr. Opal said it. You cannot start senior year because it's too stressful. It's stressful to the parents. It's stressful on the students, and it's stressful to the tutors.
Yeah.
And I would also like to invite the listeners to my private Facebook group, which is ACT and College Ready. I recently dropped in about 4 different scholarships inside my Facebook group, because I like to make sure the students have a balance. I help them with the ACT score, and then I also want to help them with additional scholarship money. And one thing I always tell my parents, the first thing you want to do with the ACT is you want to benchmark. The first thing, hit your benchmark. Benchmark in English, 18. Benchmark in math, 22. Benchmark in reading, 22. Benchmark in science, 23. After you hit those benchmarks, then you want to start climbing. You got to start climbing and hit those 30s and high 20s, like Dr. Bowles was saying, because that's the fastest way to get scholarship money. And I'm sure she can piggyback off of this. When you don't benchmark, you're going to be penalized. I don't care if you go to a junior college. I don't care if you go to a community college, 4-year college, whatever. If you don't hit those benchmarks, you're going to have to take either the ACT residual at that school, or you're going to have to take what's called the TABI test, or you're going to have to take the AccuPlacer. And you're going to be taking remedial classes, and those remedial classes don't
wasting money.
Exactly. Those classes don't count.
Early.
But they cost. They don't count, but they cost. So that's all I have.
And may I say one thing right there, Dr. Royston? The other point that you make there, Dr. West, is as you're assessing, as you're testing, you have to test for the school you're going to attend. So as you're planning for your schools, if you're planning for school A, and to get that top scholarship package requires you to have test score B, then that's the test score you need to be striving for. So if you're planning to go to school A and you have test score C, then there's a disconnect there. It's not a match. And so that you have to look at not only, okay, I want to go to this school because it has the best team. No, that's not what you're looking at. In our book, what we talk about, and Dr. West talked about the athletes. That's okay, because we talk about finding the fits. And those are called specialty schools. So you have those specialty fits for your athletes, but yes, you have to have the score also. And so whatever it is, there's a match for you. But whether it's finding that test score that's going to get you in, whether it's finding what your sports talent is that's going to get you in, whatever it is, find your match and ride that match into the school, ride the match while you're in there, and then ride that match out of the school so you can finish.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm sorry, Dr. Bowles, did you have a comment before I do these questions?
Yes, Dr. Royston, Dr. West, as well as Opal Dawson, stated something that is very pertinent. First of all, you have to remember that when you're searching for these colleges, I need you to go to the college website and look at their undergraduate admission process.
Yeah.
So make that vision board, and on that vision board, find out the undergraduate admission progress for school A, for school B, and for school C. And that way you know exactly what they're asking, what the requirements are, and you can build from there. So absolutely, Dr. West.
Exactly. Now, it seems that we probably have more high school and college age interest, but I did have a question. I wanted to make sure I get back to it. It says, when do you recommend high school students start writing their personal statements? When I saw a presentation, it was a part of your English assignment. It was a part of the actual English assignment. They wrote them in school, but I don't know about everybody else's schools.
It's a part. Okay, go on, Doctor. Go on, Dr.
I'll just speak. Whenever I am tutoring scholars, one thing that I key in on is their writing process. For example, I will have them to read something, and I say, just write a short story about what you just read, because right then and there, I'm identifying their weaknesses in writing. And that helps me to build also when I'm tutoring them, because I know that part of undergraduate admissions and part of the application process is writing college essays. And so if we key in on it early, Yolanda Demaree, what happens is by the time they're done tutoring, they have already got the foundation. They know how to write particular subjects to write about, and then we can move forward from there.
Okay. Opal, did you have a question?
Yeah, just to piggyback on that, just for a second. I would also say that what they want to look at, we have something that we put together with our clients called a match chest. And so this is where they start collecting artifacts beginning in their freshman year. And so what I would recommend is that you look at what those requirements are, as Dr. Bowles said, for the universities that you're considering, or whatever the program is that you're considering, that they've asked questions in the past, so you can get a feel for what those questions are. And as your students are writing those personal statements, I would say begin writing drafts early on. Those statements obviously will change as time progresses, but at least they can begin to think through that process and begin to shape their thoughts, so that when that time comes at the end of their junior year, beginning of their senior year, they've started to shape that narrative beginning in 9th grade. So again, look at what's been asked in the past, so that it's not a shock to them when they get to the end of the junior year, first of senior year.
Excellent. Okay, so this next question's for you specifically. I guess they're asking, how early does your program, can you work with a student? It says my son is in 7th grade and he attends school. You all do that early?
Yeah, we have middle school clients that we do, and as well as high school. So it's
Best College Match. Let me put your information up one more time, and bestcollegematch.com, and or reach out to her. Okay, so we got some great comments.
And then what I would also recommend to that family is that, and I keep showing my book, but yeah, if they look at ordering our book and our workbook, if they go to our website and order it, we'll offer free shipping. And just say that they saw it on the program tonight, and we'll offer free shipping.
Okay. Dr. Bowles, this question is for you. do you work with graduate students on mastering the GRE, correct?
That's correct. Thank you, Joan Edmondson, but I do work with graduate students.
Okay,
And
great.
that I just need to add, parents and listeners, please expose your child to the Duke Tip program. The Duke Tip program is very beneficial. So I ask that you research that information so it can give you a synopsis of what it is. It truly is. And that will give them a step up.
That's
Duke
good.
Tip.
Correct.
Duke, like Duke University?
Correct. DUKE Tip program.
Tip program. All right. So we have our homework.
How old are they for that, Dr. Bowles? How old can they be? How old can they be?
The ages vary, but 6th and 7th grade. They start at 6th grade. So 6th and 7th grade on up.
Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, I think those are all the questions. Y'all had some phenomenal comments, preparing the athletes. Everybody, the comment of excellent information from the panel. So all of you have provided some wonderful information. Joan Gray says her grandson is at Dupont Manual. So hopefully she'll be reaching out to one of you or all of you. Joan says great information. So we have some, and thank you, Lesha Roundtree, I'm sorry. Lesha Roundtree for being our scribe tonight, the Duke Tip program. So that's the homework for everybody, especially those with high school age students. And the interest tonight is definitely on high school age. But if you know the younger ones, let's get them started. It's never too early to get them started, most definitely.
Yes.
All right, I want to switch gears. Thank you all so much. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Stay right there. We'll be back because I've got a couple more things I want to ask you all, or ask everybody, the entire group. So, yay. Let's see if I can get us a wider view. There we go. So I want to switch gears to just switch gears just a little bit. Those of you, hopefully there's some educators out there, as well as there's some parents here. So all of the panel tonight are educators. So everybody is taught. Opal was a award-winning principal in our area. So there, we have some wonderful people who are on tonight, all of these educators. So I want to switch gears just a little bit to talk to these two ladies who I know them both. And I want to begin with Yvette Temple. Would you introduce yourself and tell us where you're from and what you teach?
Hey, my name is Yvette Temple. I am your Teacherpreneur coach with Destined to Shine. I am in Florida, in the South Florida area. And this year, I currently teach 7th grade intensive reading and critical thinking. This is my 28th year of teaching.
Okay, you're a teacher. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
28th year of teaching, and I am so looking forward to retirement.
Are you
Yay! So I can continue doing this business that I just that I birthed a little while ago. Oh, it's DYSTINED number.
Sorry, hold on.
It's right there by my name. Where I'm helping teachers to build their online businesses so that they can live the life that they deserve while they continue to make an impact outside of the classroom as well.
Wonderful. You're helping actual teachers to become entrepreneurs, utilize their gifts. Entrepreneurs. Oh, okay. Dominique says, hey, I'm a
Dominique's raising her hand.
Dominique said, hey, I'm a client. Whatever. Okay. So, I mean, sorry, tell us a little bit about Destined to Shine and what it does. I'm sorry.
Destined to Shine, and this is my tagline. I help teachers turn their skills into dollar bills. I help you literally take everything you do in the classroom and monetize it, because there's every aspect of what you do in the classroom. There's something about what we do that nobody else can do that you can monetize.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So yeah. So go find Destined to Shine, and yes, let's find the correct spelling, which is DYSTINED 2, the number 2, Shine LLC. Find her on. You're on Facebook, and
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on. I don't really use LinkedIn, but I have a page there. But right now, I'm also on TikTok.
oh no, she's a TikTok champion.
I'm a TikToker. Yes, my TikTok people are tuning in right now
and doing all the fancy stuff on it. So fine.
There's a huge teacher community on TikTok, so don't sleep on TikTok. There's thousands
I know
of us over there.
I'm there, but I'm TikTok for business. I'm not dancing, so don't worry. You won't find me dancing nowhere. But what's your handle on TikTok? Is it Yvette Temple?
Destined to Shine. I am destined to shine. My business name everywhere.
Everywhere. All right. Destined to Shine. All right, Miss Dominique Prosper. You know I love your last name, right? And go ahead and introduce yourself, where you are from, and what you do.
Hi, everybody. I am in Houston, Texas. I'm a teacher of over 30 years, give or take years for my kids. So 1989. Yvette is absolutely right. Consider what you do every single day as something you can continue to do outside of your job. Start sooner than later. I like business, but I like having fun. I'm not a very structured person, like a lot of teachers. We just like doing the activities, but management is our shortfall. So I am one of Yvette's students, and I would highly recommend getting into her program for the structure part. And what I do for teachers is I help them take their pain points and put it into more productive possibilities. I mainly help with digital products, so ebooks. We make a lot of worksheets. I'm starting to do recorded classes. So this is some of the property that is really yours. You could set up a camera in your classroom facing you while you're teaching your kids, and that's a whole lesson that you could market. So that's my message, pretty much. Start now, and they're not telling you about the afterlife. And Julia, your story really inspires me, how you literally, as soon as you walk out of the school building, you're in your car, in your mobile office. And that story is exactly what we do.
Oh, God.
That's what it's about. Yes.
Yeah. I turned into BK Works in Publishing as soon as 4:05 happened. I waved my kids as they got on the bus, and I monitored the bus, and I waved to them. And as soon as I closed my door, I became that 45-minute ride from Valley Station in Louisville. If you know about Louisville, Kentucky, from Valley Station to Jeffersonville, Indiana is a 45-minute ride. So I got a lot of return calls on my way home, being Julia Royston of BK Royston Publishing. And I did that for many, many years before I retired. It is a plan. There's something that you have to plan it out. So I want to ask you, Dominique, do you tutor? Yes? Do you tutor children?
Yes.
Okay. So you do, so they can reach out and find you on Facebook?
So yes, right now, Facebook is the best place because I list classes on websites. I have private students who contact me, parents who contact me directly. And then I also have contracts with neighboring school districts in the area who need online remote teachers. So I have like 3 ways that I'm working this teaching business without having to go into a school building.
I know. As horrific as the global pandemic has been, and my heart always goes out to losses, people that have had physical losses. Has been a horrific thing. But for some people, they have been able to find entrepreneurial ways to really tap in the virtual, digital, and online space. So I wanted to bring these educators on to let you know that there are other ways, there are other mechanisms. There's also supports for parents and students. I know that there's been a lot of frustration. I've seen more videos. I've seen so many things out there and so many frustrated people that, you know, I had already had the educational summit in the summer, but I'm like, okay, I'm good. But I kept going up and down the timeline, seeing all the questions. And I said, okay, I'm going to put an event together to bring not only for teachers themselves so that they can find other ways, because, you know, the traditional teacher having a second job outside is not necessarily, you know, working these days in a global pandemic. Well, maybe in 2 years, whatever happens, it'll work. But what do we do in the meantime? How do we take our gifts and talents and abilities and our teaching abilities to help parents and assist my other teacher, sister, brother, do what they do? Because sometimes you need it. It's the same math problem. It's the same writing assignment, but if you get another face, another person
approach,
another approach, exactly.
More strategy.
For the child made ding, it just all comes clear. Because let's just face it. I mean, you know, sometimes you do need it coming from a different face and a different avenue and a different direction and a different perspective of somebody who doesn't know you. And I remember remember last year when you did that and you remember that, and they keep bringing it up over and over again, and they never overcome it. But having these teacherpreneurs, these educators, these business owners, that was my point. That was my purpose, to bring that to you. So if you're a teacher out there struggling, and especially those of you who have not been vested, your 5 years are not in yet, and you're like, oh my gosh, and you got loans and you got all this, how am I going to do it? How am I going to make it? I can't go down the street to that business. Check out both of these ladies who will help you formulate strategy to be able to make extra money in the virtual digital space. To organize your organize your gifts. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I was going to mention my 5. Go ahead.
Yeah, organize your life, organize your time, organize yourself, because they're in the trenches. They're doing it.
Yes.
So and have that ability to be able to create products and services that you already know. You're not designing something new. It's not required that you go back to school with 15 to 30 more hours. No, you're going to take the skills that you already have, package it, and sell it in a way. It's your intellectual property, it's your knowledge, and go for it.
And correct? Julia, I actually, one of the things in Destined to Shine that I teach teachers is that there are 5, and these are mine, 5 most profitable online businesses for teachers. Okay. Tutoring, of course, is one, and I specifically say online tutoring, and this was before the pandemic even helped, because online happened. I'm sorry, because online tutoring was becoming a new thing. It was becoming a big thing in the marketplace. So online tutoring is one. Becoming a coach, whatever kind of coach. I help life coaches, health and nutrition coaches, business coaches, coaching or consulting, whether it's educational consultant or whatever type of consultant that you would like to be. That's your specialty, the thing that you're so amazing at and that you can help other people with. So coaching and consulting is 2. 3 is course creation, online courses. Hello, you're a teacher. Teach what you know. Teach what you know. And online courses, if just imagine right now, and I don't want to put this out there, but just think about where we are right now with what's happening in our country. And so many places are being shut down again.
Yes.
Yeah. If you had an online course while people are stuck in the house at home again, that you can still monetize and make money from, that's another stream of income. Okay. And then it's my friend over here, Julia Royston, who helps teachers publish, become authors, and publish their books. You're writers. You teach writing all day. You have a story to tell, but that's her thing. that's her thing. But that's one of the 5 most profitable ones.
Hey, put it on out there. Number 4.
And my book will be coming out next year.
Number 4, publish.
Yes. Number 4, authors and publishers. And number 5 is e-commerce. We're creatives. Teachers are natural born creators. We love to decorate our room. We like to make worksheets, like she said. We make t-shirts. We make we make jewelry. We do a lot of things with our hands. And e-commerce is the 5th stream that I teach my teacherpreneurs on how to monetize all of your gifts. There are so many more that you can do, but those are the top 5 that I believe are the most profitable ones, and that you can easily take your classroom skills and build a business based on those easily, because they come so natural to you and it's already embedded in you.
Exactly.
I would like to add that when you're getting closer to either changing your job or retiring, you are going to have a shortfall. It's just reality. Inflation does not keep up with lifestyle. You need to start just hanging out with teachers who are monetizing what they do. Just start. Allocate some funds to do it, because you can't think yourself through it. You have to be involved.
Yes.
That's where you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck. So if it's writing a book or monetizing what you do right now in the classroom, get into a group. You have to do it, because it's never going to happen watching or waiting.
Sitting on the sidelines. And and this is my thing. And
that will preach that watching and waiting, because I realize that, there's so many people that are watching and waiting and thinking, oh, it's going to return. Well, what if it doesn't, boo? What if this is it for a while? What if we don't return to in-person? Jump into the e-commerce, jump into, that ability to be able to monetize what you know. People will pay you for what you know.
For what you know. And you don't have, and this is the thing that it was a couple of years ago, everybody was jumping on the Teachers Pay Teachers train. We can do more than that. I'm not knocking it, but we can do more than that. That's not the only stream of income that you can create or generate as a teacher. That's one, but you can do so much more than that.
There sure is. And, there are just all kinds of ways that we need, it would, of course, when we were all in the building, you just, that veteran teacher down the hallway, you just walked down the hall, grabbed a half a sandwich and ate lunch with them and asked them to teach you something or show you something. But you still need that whole support group, and that's a whole support team. And you need these consultants to be able to come in and talk to your teachers and talk to your school systems and all the tutors I have. And oh my gosh, this has been phenomenal. And we could really go on and on and on. I just really wanted the tip of the iceberg to introduce you to these phenomenal people so that you would have some resources. That's one of my goals. And believe you me, it's been a prayer of mine, because when the teaching thing, I loved it while I did it, but I'm up to my eyebrows in
publishing
in books and publishing and writing, which I love. But my heart still goes out to parents who are struggling, and students who are struggling, and teachers who are struggling too as well. So that's been my goal, and that's been my aim. And yes, join the Teacherpreneur Lounge. Miss Yvette Temple has that. I'm in the Teacherpreneur Lounge just as a resource to help other teachers, as well as help those who are striving to monetize their information. I'm going to bring everybody back into the room, because I've got a general question, and I do want to, if you have any other questions, be sure and put them in the comments one more time. We had some wonderful questions. But I want each of you, from your perspective, to just kind of give me just one tip, and then I'm going to be on out your way, and we'll move on and be ready to watch Monday Night Football. But, I am a football fan. watch Monday Night Football, but I'm really wanting to kind of prepare not only teachers, but also prepare parents and students. So in your estimation, and I'm going to start with Brian Watts, since he's the gentleman in the group, I want him to start. Your perspective, because I always want everybody to really kind of forecast, prophesy, prepare us for what the future of education is really going to look like. I know we want to go back to those great road desks, and I have a sister who really likes that. Everything to be asymmetric and all the books on the table and all the labels on the table and all of that. But what, in your estimation, do you see the future of teaching and training and educating is going to look like? Just one thing.
Well, I think education is definitely going to finally be what it always should have been, and that's a collaboration between parent, teacher, and child. This pandemic has forced that issue and made it happen. And now that it has happened, there's no reason to go back. Everybody knows that it can be possible and that it's something that works. It might not work in the way that it's working now, but you will never go back to a point where parents can stay out of this process. So that's one of the reasons why I felt that some of the things that I said in my book were apropos for the time, because getting to know your child better now, while you have this time, while they're around, where you can sort of pour into them, is of utmost importance. A lot of children are different people at school than they are at home. And the fact that you have a chance now to get to know them on a different level and to learn some things about them that you might not have ever encountered before, it's going to make it a better synergy between you, the teacher, and your child. And most children respond a lot better when both people know what's going on, because there's nowhere they can get away with anything or nowhere they can sort of stray. So I would say to parents now, be prepared to be a part of this educational process in the way that you can. I understand having 2 jobs or other things that you have to do, but there are small things that you can do that will matter big. It's all about the quality, not the quantity.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Opal?
Yes. I would say that what this time has probably taught most of us is how resilient we all are and how much we are able to do when we didn't know we could do it. I think that it's shown us that, and where education is headed is in a place where those who didn't know how much they could teach are now teaching, and that's our parents. We've always said that our parents were our first teachers. Now they are really being the teachers in some cases. I think that as we move forward, what we're going to see is as Mr. Watts said, the true partnership in the school and the home is going to be valued more than ever before. And I think that where the playing field may not have been leveled in the past, that it's going to be valued more than it has been in the past. So I think I'm more excited now than I may have been before, and in that what we're going to see. I don't know that it'll ever be the way it was, but I don't know that that's a bad thing.
No.
But that's just my opinion. I'm an old retired person, so
yeah. And I know in schools we just beg parents to be involved. Come on in, help, volunteer. Yeah, we love to have you. And now, we in this thing together for real.
And it's not. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we're in this thing together. Dr. Bowles.
What I would say is diverse learning. And what I mean by diverse learning is learning out of different lenses, being it kinesthetic, being it hands-on, being it media, social media, being it in person. And we all know, and I think you all can agree with me, that it takes a village. Don't be afraid to reach out for assistance. We are all out for the same common goal, and that is the success of the scholars. Thank you.
Yep.
Dr. West?
Yes, I would like to just leave one tip with the parents as well. I would like to encourage them to be very strategic when it comes to their child's or their scholars' extracurricular activities, because that also, along with really good test scores, GPA, being very strategic with your extracurricular activities, that's also a really good way to earn scholarship money. I was just working with one of my scholars. He's an athlete, he's a leader. He works with a mentorship program. He volunteers. He was like, I just won a leadership award at my high school. I'm going to get a leadership award from the college that I want to attend. So I would say, and it kind of goes back to what Dr. Bowles just said, it takes a village. Also having a balance between sports, academics, leadership, if it's Big Brother, Big Sister, if it's the Kappa League, if it's the Omega Lamplighters,
Jack and Jill.
volunteer, Jack and Jill, so we want to create diverse students. We don't want to just one hit, all I do is go to school and play basketball. But what else do you do? So, and just having those different avenues is going to present multiple opportunities. So that's what I would love to share with the parents.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we've had some excellent comments. I want to ask, as far as the future of learning I'll start with Yvette and then go to Dominique from the educator side, because I know you all are still, you're not
in the trenches.
You're still in the trenches, in the building. What does it look like for the future of creating educators? What would you like to see creating from an educational point of view as an educator? What does the young, new, up and coming educator? Because when I came to education and the classes that I took, because my undergraduate degree is not in education, but I felt as inept and unqualified as anybody anywhere. I was just like, that was a waste of time. Y'all did not prepare me for these people right here, these little people. I have no biological children, so that was just, I wanted to just go and shake some of my professors. But what would be one thing that you would really encourage those that are in the educational colleges of education? What are one really key for the next generation educator?
Now, I'm 28 years in, so I
know, but what if you were teaching now, what would you make sure after 28 years looking back, you got that little 21-year-old little girl who says, I want to be a teacher because my teacher, Miss Clark, and what would you
I'm going to be honest with you right now, Julia, and the panel. That's a difficult question for me to answer at this point because of the pandemic. Because when you initially asked that question, the word I wrote down here was digital. Mm-hmm. Because every student right now has a computer. Mm-hmm. They know how to use technology, but their parents may not be as technologically savvy as them. And I, for one, certainly, and I think I thought I was until all of this happened. So it's a whole new world for education, for public schools going into this digital realm full force. So a 21-year-old may come out of college because they're all they were born with gadgets in their hands. They may come out of college with some technological wherewithal, but still, I think the basics of education still need to be there, but it's so different right now.
Yeah,
it's so different trying to build a relationship with a student online that you've never had before, that you've never met before. They've never seen you before. So a whole big thing about kids need to be back in school for the social emotional learning. Well, the way it's set up right now is we're still having a hard time meeting the needs of those that do walk in the building.
Right. Yes.
Versus those that we never see beyond the building that they sit in front of.
Right.
So the whole digital component of where education is going, I think there needs to be more training, not just for new teachers coming in, but veteran teachers. We were drowning when all of this changed, because I sit in the classroom, which I was lucky enough to get a bigger classroom this year and happy to be in a bigger classroom, but I can't even enjoy it because I'm sitting in front of 2 computer screens and a smart board all day.
Yeah.
So
okay,
the
teaching in the digital
has changed
right.
my perspective.
Teaching in the virtual, digital, and online, I say it all the time.
Yeah.
I don't want to disrespect
totally different.
you, but is that Mr. Randy Nichols or Dr. Nichols? Dr. Nichols?
Dr. Randy Nichols.
That's what I thought. Okay. Dr. Nichols says Dr. Wilson encouraged their critical thinking skills. That transcends a lot.
Yeah.
Critical
I would say this to Dr. Royston also, because this just happened to my niece. She just graduated from college and this is her first year teaching. And I would say be flexible.
Yeah.
And keep an open mind. Because when I started teaching in 1998, when I was 22, things were totally different. So I would just have to say with a resounding voice for anyone who's coming out, and this is going to be your first year teaching, whether it's this year or next year, be flexible, keep an open mind, and just like Ms. Temple said, and ramp up on your technical skills.
Yeah. Dominique, would you agree?
Yes, I would agree with all that. I would say to the parents, number one, think critically. Whatever it is you want for your children, you need to seek out that information. Do not accept what you're just given, and do not assume that the status quo will deliver the results that they have in the past. In other segments of society, parents do not sit down, they do not watch, they do not wait. They are proactive and they make sure that they have the results. I work with students every single day. Parents want the classics, they want the basics, they want the children to read, write, and be able to, perform mathematics. Okay, so I pretty much teach writing and reading. New teachers, you gotta love reading. You gotta love the classics. You have to be able to deliver the literature and show the children how to read between the lines. That does not change. The delivery, using technology, using your intuition, using your ability to engage them is what you need to always develop. But keep those classics, because the new the books that the kids like to read that are super easy, the graphic novels and whatnot, that's not going to pierce their cranium. They need the classics. Literature is still literature. Whatever we have out here today for entertainment doesn't hold up to the classics. So keep the horse and buggy and then ride the spaceship for fun. I mean, just.
I like that.
I like that too. I really like that. I really like that.
Yeah. Dr. Royston, may I say one thing? Just as a retired principal, just if I were saying something to a new teacher, just give yourself some grace, give your students some grace, and you're coming in because they're coming in, they're very competent. They made the grades, they had the highest scores, but where we fail them sometimes is that confidence in believing that they can do it. And supporting them in getting it done.
Okay, I need you as my principal.
And wanting them to do it. It was hard in the building. And right now, when you can't be with them, to build them up, to say, okay, it's going to be all right. And so to a new teacher, or even to a veteran teacher, give yourself some grace. It's hard. It is hard. And you understand that it's hard. One day at a time. That's what I would say to them. And it's going to be okay. I mean, and everything that Ms. Prosper just said to you, absolutely. Absolutely. Everything everyone on the panel has said, absolutely. Believe that it can happen, but again, give yourself some grace. Every once in a while, sit down, take a deep breath, and look for that one thing that happened during the day that was good.
Yeah.
Glass to be half full every once in a while, because there's a whole lot that goes on to show you that it's half empty. But there are a lot of things that go on in that virtual environment to show you that it's half full. So you need to be able to see for yourself that there are things that are half full, because in this environment, you're not going to have a whole lot of people patting you on the back, because we can't pat you on the back. We can't give you a Post-it on your door saying, great job. So what are you going to do to give yourself a virtual Post-it? So hang in there and know that it's going to be okay. It's a whole lot of things to say it's not going to be okay, but there are a whole lot of things to tell you it is going to be okay. So that's the thing. And just don't give up.
Don't give up and run out of the building. I need to post this from Dr. Nichols again. He's giving us a great recommendation, especially those teaching online. So feel free to write that website down. And this has been clearly phenomenal. Dr. West, go ahead.
I wanted to just encourage the parents as well, because this is new. The parents are working closely with the students, and something has been uncovered that we have known as educators for years, that there is an achievement gap. You know, there's a deficit, and it doesn't just lie within the students, but there's a learning deficit with the parents. And if you realize that you're having problems reaching your student, you can't help them with the math. You can't help them with the algebra. By all means, try to get a tutor, get somebody to help you. You don't have to be a hero. Get someone, if you can, get someone to help you, because if you can't do it, some of us can, you know, and that's why we are here. So just get some help.
And that's why I had this event.
There's services that are free out there.
There are.
In the community, we have the hubs. We have services within your school. Ask before it's too late.
Yes, be sure and ask. And I think that's one of the things that I've always strived to. You know, I was an itinerant teacher. I was a technology teacher. So we were able to move about the building while the parent-teacher conferences were happening and all that. And so we had some parents that came out, you know, just wringing their hand, and I'm like, no, you really have the controls here. You are in charge of your child. This is your child. You've got to, you know, I would be shoving them. Get back in there and fight for your baby, fight for your child, and fight for what they need to succeed. You know, we have them 7 hours a day, but you gave birth to it. So therefore, that's the reason why I wanted this educational summit, to bring you some information and tools, but also to empower parents to go in there and fight for your child. And yes, it may be virtually. Yes, it may be on email. Yes, you may have to leave several voicemails. Yes, you may have to go to the district. And yes, you may have to look for the superintendent. But whatever it takes to fight for your child, you have been empowered by this panel, this group, this educational summit to be able to do that. Whether you can afford a tutor or you cannot, whether you can buy their books, or whether you can do whatever it takes to be able to ensure that your child succeeds. Maybe you may not be able to get the $200 pair of sneakers and say, we're going to take 100 of this and buy the books so that we can be able to achieve on the next level so we can easily buy the $200
You need to say that one more time, Dr. Royston.
I mean, maybe
For the parents in the store right now.
yeah,
For the ones in the back.
you know, and nobody's gonna see them right now anyway. We all home. So anyway, okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna come out of that. But the whole point is that we've got to sacrifice and make sure that we get what our child needs and fight for it. Because I have no biological children, but I am a community leader. So I'm trying to look for where's the workforce going to be? Where's the next generation going to be? Fighting so that we don't have any more homeless and any more incarcerated. I mean, that's my fight. That's my prayer. That's my hope. That's my wish. That's the reason why we're here and the time we spent this evening. So I trust that you have been blessed by this event. This the replay will be on my YouTube channel. The replay will also be available on juliaroyston.net and special events page. I will make sure that it continues to share this. This has been an incredible conversation. Thank you all so much for taking out your time. And I greatly appreciate all of you for what you're offering the community and what you have available to people. Now, you can't say, I didn't know. You can't say, I don't know what happened. I put it out there. I wanted to make sure it was available to you. In addition, this is a part of my whole world. This is a part of my whole life. And so even though I've been retired going in my 3rd year, I haven't forgotten about education. I haven't forgotten about teachers. I haven't forgotten about parents and administrators striving to get in the trenches with you so that we can build up the next and the future generations. You all be blessed. You all know how to find me. I'm juliaroyston.net is my website that has all of my headquarters and all of my information. If you need to have a conversation about a book, go to talkwithroyston.com. My email is bkroystonpublishing@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and no, I'm not dancing like Yvette Tempo on TikTok, but you will find some motivation on TikTok as well. I'm Julia A. Royston. You all be blessed. Thank you so much for all the shares, the comments, the questions. We appreciate you. You all be blessed and have a great rest of the year. We can make it. We're still alive. We're still above ground. We're still breathing. Let's keep moving forward. Love your people. Check on your folks. Zoom with them, FaceTime, whatever you got to do. I know the holidays are going to be different. Everything's going to be different. But God has us here for a reason and a purpose. Help us to continue to live our best life and to succeed and help the next generation. Thank you again, Dr. Nichols, for your questions, your information for us. We appreciate you being on. And I pray and I trust that you all have a wonderful holiday season and live your best life. Good night and goodbye.